Hey YouTube, I just wanted to do this video in the car. I'm on my way to shoot a 2-day event, and for some reason I can't get the Facebook Live to work. But anyway, this is working. So if I'm not looking at you, it's not that I don't want to. I'm actually just driving and trying to maximize this time to capture this on the cell phone because I've had so many messages on my last couple of videos. Some of the people really want to know about metering modes, and they want me to make a lot more videos on photography. I mean, the gear part is cool. We can always do that, but how do I get the look that I do out of the Fuji camera? So let's just talk briefly, about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm not going to keep you guys too long, and then let you guys enjoy your weekend, and you can leave your thoughts and comments, and then we can make some more videos based on whatever you want. So there are literally 3 modes. You have your spot metering, you have evaluative, and then you have your average. So those are actually, like on XT1, it's up on the top right dial, and you can just turn them. You don't have to go into any menus. It's kind of cool, much easier to get to. On the X Pro one, I believe you actually have a AE button on the side, and you click that, and then spot and multi and all that pops up. So those are the different metering modes. What does that mean? So spot metering is exactly going to meter right where the focus point is. So when the light lights up to become green, telling you something's in focus, it's going to meter exactly off of that spot. That's why it's called spot metering. If you want a sort of a simulation of a evaluated metering using spot metering, you can make your box a little bit bigger. However, you got to keep one thing in mind: your background could get overblown on the highlights, or it could actually go much darker and lose detail in the shadows. So you have to be very careful on how you shoot that. I shoot a lot on spot metering because of the film days. I want the look that I want. I've had many people comment, oh, it looks kind of oversaturated. Well, in the back. Oh, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to create that dreamy look. This is not post-processing. I don't get paid to post-process. I don't have the time for it. Not to say that I don't. I will if I really have to. But I work very hard to make sure it's right in the camera. Again, that just goes back to the basics of photography. So, having said that, the middle selection, the one to the right of the spot metering, is typically what's called an evaluator metering. What that means is it actually is evaluating what's in that zone that you're in. So if you're in the center focus zone, it's going to take an evaluation of the entire zone and then average it out and meter it. So a lot of people argue, well, what is that third mode on the right, which looks like a little box or just 2 brackets? Well, that is called average metering. What that does is that'll take your foreground, background, and meter the whole thing. Okay, so the entire scene is being metered, and then the photograph is taken. So the chances of you actually blowing your subject out is much higher. The chances of you blowing your subject out in spot metering is the lowest. In average, you can get hit and misses, especially if you have drastic lighting changes. So what I would really recommend is go on a bright sunny day and try to shoot into the sun. Literally shoot into the sun with spot metering, average and evaluative, and you'll get an idea of what it does. You'll be very shocked at the 3 results you get are going to be very different, and it'll help you understand how the camera sees light and how it actually meters to give you the exposure that you're getting. Now, if you're shooting in manual mode, you are in control of that, so it's a little different. If you really want to understand these modes, get out of the manual mode. I know most people would hate me for saying this, but reality is get out of the manual mode. Actually put it in the P mode, which is whatever mode you want to call it. A lot of people call it, it's not professional, it's not this and that and the other. Well, if the P mode really wasn't made for professionals to use, they would have never put it on the camera in the first place. They would have taken it out, right? They would have just given it to you at a consumer level. Why would they put it on X Pro 1, X2, X Pro 2, and, you know, Canon 1D bodies, Nikon D810s, all of them? Why do they have it? They have it because lighting changes very, very, very fast. And when it changes very, very, very fast, to get correct exposures, you don't have the time, especially when you're shooting in high-speed burst modes, to sit there and tinker with all of your 3 settings, which comprises of the exposure triangle. So that's what people need to understand. You know, you have to pick and choose your battles on what works for you, right? But you have to understand your gear. This is not a Fuji thing. This is not a Canon thing, a Nikon thing. It's just a photography thing. This is a photography video that I'm making. I'm just sharing with the broader community, you know, because a lot of my followers are shooting Fuji and other brands, just so they can relate to it when they do pick up their camera, when they're looking at this video. Again, this video is not, you know, fully, you know, professional made and stuff. I'm actually heading out to a 2-day event. How do I plan to shoot it? Probably a lot of it on spot metering and some of it on evaluator metering. Depending on what happens, I will rarely use average metering. Now, if I'm going to shoot a large crowd of 1,000 people, I will use the average metering to make sure that the frame is, the exposure on the frame is consistent across edge to edge. So you have to really understand your gear. I think that's the most important thing. One advice that I'll give everyone, not that you guys need advice, pull out the manual. Pull out the manual for your camera. They're supplied with your camera for a reason. Most people never read that manual. They have no idea how to maximize a camera. They think that they have to go buy new gear to get better images. It's not true. You need to pull out your manual and you need to learn to use the gear you have currently first before you go buy new stuff. You know, every you know, camera has limitations. How do you work around it and become creative is the key to photography. It's not about you know, having gas that we call in photography, you know, gear acquisition syndrome. I have it too from time to time. Why? Because sometimes I just feel like buying stuff, you know, because it's new, gotta have it. You know, it's exciting. But that doesn't mean that I don't sit there reading my manuals and maximize what I have. I don't just buy stuff to put on the shelf. I put it through its paces, abuse it in many ways, you know, and really use this stuff and report it to you uncut. I'm not being paid by Fuji. Even, you know, if that is something that ever were to happen in the future, I still will tell you what the things that are not right with it. I don't really frankly care, because the bottom line is, I think subscribers, you know, consumers need to really understand. Consumers, whether you're a prosumer or you're a professional or you're an average, just a you know, mom and pop just looking to, you know, take pictures of your kids, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're all paying for this gear, and we need to know the reality of it, you know, in its entirety, without, you know, having it, you know, sway one way or another. So you make decisions and then you buy into a system, and then next thing you know, you're very disappointed. Anyway, just my thoughts. Leave your comments and you know, thoughts below, and I'll be happy to respond when I can. And again, like, subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.